Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nikita, and today in this video I want to talk about 5 easy communication tips that you can implement in your life and communicate better than 95% of people. Principles that I'm going to share with you are very simple, but it's not about if they're simple or not. It's about if you do them or not. Because we all know that in order to stay healthy, we have to walk 10,000 steps every day. And it sounds very easy, but not a lot of people actually do that. So if you start doing those things that I will talk about in this video, you will be communicating better than 95% of people and achieve your goals in business, relationship, and in everyday life. Now, without further ado, let's roll. And let's start with the thing that every communication has in common: the goal. Every communication, no matter what it is, either it's a date, public speaking, or maybe some business negotiations, has a very clear goal. And this is the first thing that you need to think about before any meaningful conversation, is that what is my communication goal? What am I trying to achieve by communicating with this person? You'll be surprised, but a lot of people simply don't have this goal in their heads. And so what they're doing, they're just start improvising. But if you have a very clear goal and you set it before the conversation, this goal becomes your North Star and your communication becomes very directed. It will align all of your thoughts and you will be very aware when you're talking to the specific person. A very good example can be a date with a person you like. For instance, I want to invite some spicy senorita to a dinner. And first of all, what I would do is that, okay, what is this goal that I'm trying to achieve on this date? Well, if this is the first date, maybe I just want to get to know this person better. Well, all right. So if this is what I'm trying to achieve, what will be my plan? What do I have to do in order to achieve this goal? I have to make a good first impression, and then I also have to ask some questions that will help me to understand if this person actually is potentially a good fit for me, and if it's worth it to go on the second date. Alright, great, so this is our plan, how we will achieve this goal. Is there anything else that can stop me from achieving this goal? If I don't really have a lot of dating experience, maybe there will be the problem that I don't really know what to talk about. Okay, so let's think about 5 topics that we can discuss before the date. So when the date starts, and I will have this awkward pause, you know, when you just said everything and you don't really know what to say, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's another topic that I want to discuss. Okay, let's talk about this. Setting a communication goal is so simple, and that's why it's very commonly overlooked. I mean, people don't really even think about it. But by doing this very simple mental exercise, it can take something around 5 minutes. Your conversations with people will be way more meaningful. And once you have this very clear communication goal, all of a sudden, actions become very clear for you. You have to do things that will help you to achieve this communication goal, and you have to not do things that will stop you from achieving that. And I'm not saying here that you have to be a people pleaser, agree on everything, you know, fake, but sometimes, and I actually have seen this a lot, that people don't really achieve their communication goal because they say something first and then they think. For instance, you're at the party. You know, the music is pretty loud, everyone's dancing, and you see the guy who's, you know, near the bar table. You have nothing else to do, so you just come to this bar table and you decide to have some sort of a small talk. You smile, say, hey man, he smiles back, you start talking, and then you ask him, hey, so what do you do for a living? And he says, well, I'm an artist, I paint. And then you say, wow, but do you have a real job? Look, maybe this is actually what you really thought, but no one asked you about what you think about this job. So if you have a very clear communication goal that you want to, you know, get to know this person, there are some things that you might say that will just ruin everything. And I'm not saying that you have to agree on everything, be people pleaser, be fake, but sometimes there are situations where you have to think first before you open your mouth. And a lot of people simply don't follow this principle. They just say whatever they want to say, and then they deal with consequences. Because in this particular example, if you say those things, you will not achieve anything. I mean, you were just rude and you insulted this person. That's it. But then this person will be offended and you will not build any connection. So the principle number 2 is that think before you speak. Principle number 3. A lot of people, when I start talking to them about communication, think about that communication is what you say. What words you choose, what phrases, your vocabulary, if you use some filler words like like, and things like that. And yes, of course, this is true. What you say is very important. But what is more important is how you say that. You see, we have verbal communication, specifically what we say, and nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication are things like tonality of the voice, pauses, hand gestures, facial expressions, and in communication with others, people pay way more attention to those things rather than things that you say. So a very simple example can be the word hello. When you greet someone, you can say hello, or you can say hello, or hello, right? In this situation, you say the same things. But in fact, will be completely different. Because the first hello was very positive, very warm. The second hello was, pretty angry, negative, and the third one was timid. So when you are in the business negotiations, in the selling process, on a date, or maybe just in everyday life, you might create this perfect verbal structure in your head, like what you're going to say. But sometimes the difference between if you achieve your communication goal or not is about how you say those things. And we can actually see that in settings like public speaking. Two speakers can say the same thing word for word. But if one person just stands there and talking, hello guys, so today I want to talk about this and this presentation that we have, and another person will be, hello guys, welcome, and today I want to talk about this presentation. The second person, despite saying the same things, will do a way better job. So don't only concentrate on what you say. Focus also on things like your tonality, your hand gestures, your facial expressions, your pauses. Those things carry way more weight than your words. But communication is not only about what you say and how you say it. Because in the end of the day, in order to communication to be effective, it requires two people, you and another person. So it's not only about what you say, what you deliver. It's about another person, and if you can hear them, what he's saying, his ideas, his thoughts, etc. So another crucial skill that you have to master is called active listening. Of course, if we just try to summarize this in one sentence, it's basically just listen to another person, what he's saying. And of course, it sounds like super basic, but you will be surprised. A lot of people don't really know how to listen nowadays. Like, I've seen this dozens of times. I'm talking to the person, he's not really listening to me. He's in his fucking phone watching some Instagram reel. During the Zoom call, I had those video chats with people, maybe like 3 or 4 people at the same time. And I remember like one person is talking, another one, you can see by their eyes, they're in alt tab, searching something online. They're not really there, they're not really listening. Yes, like physically they are on the call, but mentally they're somewhere else. So if you want to communicate better than most of those guys, there's a very simple thing that you can do. Start listening to people, and it will really increase your communication skills dramatically. Because if you really put away your fucking phone and start paying attention to the person, what he's saying, first of all, you will remember way more. Number 2, it will be way easier for you to keep the conversation going, because by being fully focused, you understand what another person is saying, and you'll be able to ask some clarifying questions. Simply by doing that, people will feel heard, and you will instantly build with them a better connection. And when you start listening actively and concentrate what another person is saying, it will be way easier for you to achieve the last thing. The last principle, adjust your audience. Tell you a secret today. People are different. Who would have thought? Different people want different things. And that's why in this way, communication is an art. Because it's not like a system where you do the same thing, communicate the same way again and again and again and again with every person. You need to adjust. A very good example is convincing others to do something. For instance, if you're talking to an adult, if you want to convince him to do something for you, you have to provide some reasons, explain, and things like that. And if you want to ask the same thing, but with the kid, if you provide the same explanation, the kid might just simply not listen to you. So in order to achieve your communication goals with different person, you will need constantly to be adapting to that person. And I had a lot of experience in my everyday life. So I work as coach and consultant, and I help people to grow their YouTube channels. And sometimes I have people who are very go-getters, right? They're like, yes, let's go, let's do that, go, right? And you understand that if you want to provide a better service, you want to mirror this energy and also to be like that. So they will feel heard and you will be with them on the same wave. And I also had other clients who are way more chill. I had one day a client who was like the woman and her kid, and she just wanted to create a YouTube channel for her kid as a creative outlet. And of course, if I had the same vibe with the other guy, right? Like, go, let's do that. It simply wouldn't work. I mean, it's not what they want. So I had to listen actively, adjust to their needs, and also not only what I say, but also my nonverbal communication, my vibe, my tonality. And by doing that, we really became a team and started working together towards their goal. So in the end of the day, by adjusting to another person, it helped me to provide a better service. And so if you set a very clear communication goal before talking to another person, you think before you speak. You will use not only verbal, but also nonverbal communication. You listen actively and you adjust to another person. You will be a better communicator than 95% of people. That's what I simply can guarantee. And this is it for today. I hope you liked this video. And if this was useful, consider hitting like and subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.